Assalamualaikum, everybody. Um, Today we're gonna be hosting a show that deals with ourselves, and the show that we're gonna be hosting today, or more so me hosting, is the struggle to be yourself. Because I thought about it from a school paper that I did, narrative essay, and I titled it "The Struggle to Be Yourself." And that's really been a struggle for me, and that's a struggle for everybody because you always have to struggle against yourself. But real quick, we're gonna kind of minister for like 15 minutes, and then after that, we're gonna continue conversation. And guys, thank you for joining so much. Here we go. Why is playing out? What? Excuse me. Just had some technical difficulties. Oh, I had to go actually play it on. There we go. All right. Let's know in the chat if you hear us, because I know problems with the mic earlier. Oh.
Your baby is. How wonderful you expect her to be. You're not this. And she grows up, or he grows up with a feeling of lack of self-worth. This world has crushed us as black people. And really, it has done one hell of a job on us. And our parents, in their ignorance sometimes, they reinforce what the world has done. I say that to say my mother gave me that violin. And when I learned to play that violin, people begin to praise my playing. They then began to show me that I was valuable. But that made me dependent on their acclamation, their, and I could struggle a little bit, you know. You are like that too. I'm giving you myself so you can see yourself because this critical analysis is the analysis of yourself. And if you're not going to be true to yourself, brother, you ain't going to be true to nobody. You forget. I only bear myself to you like this, not because I have to, but by saying things about myself to you, which may take me down even in your eyesight, yet it helps you to be more honest
Okay, I found out what it is now. Okay, we good? I don't even know what happened with that. Can you all hear me? Just make sure you can hear me. Okay. All right. So everything is good. All right. So brothers and sisters, we don't know if you all heard what was said. So we're gonna go back again because we want to lay the base for this conversation here. So we're gonna go back again and play.
That we're pleasing the person to whom we look for establishing our self-esteem. Are you listening to me? This baby looks to this mother to help it to establish its self-esteem. And when the mother ain't got no time to look at the baby and tell the baby, your baby, how beautiful your baby is, how wonderful you expect her to be, you're not telling her this. And she grows up, or he grows up with a feeling of lack of self-worth. This world has crushed us as black people. It has done one heck of a job on us. And our parents, in their ignorance sometimes, they reinforce what the world has done. I say that to say my mother gave me that violin. And when I learned to play that violin, people begin to praise my playing. They then began to show me that I was valuable. But that made me dependent on their acclamation, then I could struggle a little bit, you know. And you are like that too. I'm giving you myself so you can see yourself, because this critical analysis is the analysis of yourself. If you're not going to be true to yourself, brother, you ain't going to be true to nobody. You forget it. And I only bear myself to you like this, not because I have to, but by saying things about myself to you, which may take me down even in your eyesight, yet it helps you to be more honest with yourself. And that's my objective. Be honest with you. Now, I say that to say, I played the violin. Then I learned I could joke. I mean, I really could tell jokes. I would have people cracking up. So I became the life of the party. I really thought I was an ugly child, and none of the girls would look at me. So I used to stutter and stammer. So I wouldn't talk. If you wanted to see my work, I play for you, I sing for you, or I would dance. I was a heck of a dancer. And so when I danced, everybody would stop dancing, and they would form a circle around me, and then I would just cut up for them, you know what I mean? And when they got finished applauding, you know what I mean, I felt like, gee, maybe I am somebody. I would go to the track and run, and my mother would never come to see her boy run. But I was fast, brother. I whoop anything out there, brother. I'd come back with the championship, or mom wasn't a sport person. You know, but the applause of others gave me my word. So what does that do? That makes you addicted to applause. And if you look at people in show business, they're always on stage. They never are. Because their inside is so sick, like Pagliacci. You know, they're sick inside, but they make others laugh, because when you laugh, and I'm a comedian, then it makes me feel like I got some value in life, because I don't see no value in myself.
Come on now.
And this is wrong, man. This is what this world does. And each one of us suffer from this kind of madness. You don't see no value in you.
Come on now.
And if you don't see no value in me, in yourself, your value of me is false. Because it ain't a proper value. It's a value based on the need to receive.
Oh, now.
And so people can manipulate you because you feel that they give you your need. So Ali can't quit. He got to stay in the ring and fight till he loses his self-respect because he can't see a life without boxing, without being the center of everyone's attention. It's because with all that he has, he don't have self-worth. And he allows something outside of himself other than God to establish value for him. You are like that too. I'm only showing you me. I come to Islam, I gave up show business. Then the rostrum became my stage. Because you're interested in applause. Because it's applause that feeds the ego. And on the way to satisfying your ego, maybe somebody will be raised from the dead, but you ain't thinking about the dead. This is why so many ministers fail, because they have such a tremendous need till they corrupt their communication. I'm saying that to come to this. By the grace of Almighty God, I long ago overcame that. And my aim is not for you to go out of this building and acclaim me as anything. I am just your brother. But my aim is for you to go out of this building and acclaim yourself as somebody of worth and value.
Come on now.
And if
Come on
you
now.
can go out of here tonight or any other time that you come and see some value, more value in yourself, where you fall in love with you.
Come on now.
And that you don't need nobody outside of you to establish your value.
Come on now.
Then you don't need no man to establish your value, woman. Where you make yourself a whore for a man.
Come on now.
Where a man can take you and use you because without him you say you don't have no value. What kind of damn fool woman have you become? Huh? Like some brother going to Sister Ava. I don't know your face if you're in here. I'm talking to you.
Oh, now.
Telling Sister Ava, I can't live without you. Who the hell is she that you can't live without her?
Come on now.
She ain't God. When I hear a damn fool talking like that, I want to choke you till your tongue fall out. Not because you're disrespecting Sister Ava. I want to choke the hell out of you because you disrespect yourself and God. You don't need no woman to establish your value. She wasn't in the room with you when you were falling.
Come on now.
You don't need nobody to establish your value but God.
All right, family. All right. We just wanted to lay that as a foundation for our conversation today. You know, and thank you all for tuning in with us here on Mindspark Creations. We really do appreciate you all tuning in with us once again. As always, because you could be anywhere and everywhere, but you chose to be with us, and we appreciate that. We truly do appreciate that you wanted to be with us. Excuse me.
And welcome.
touch that. We just don't. This is a very important conversation for us to have, family, because many of us just don't feel as adequate as we should. We just don't feel like, we have the value that God has put on us. And especially among our youth, brothers and sisters, this is even, as we know, many of us are going to these prisons, getting in these life of crime and things like that, but especially our youth. And there's a connection that's not being made, where they're learning at a young age to honor and value themselves, where they're learning at a young age the value of them, where they are learning at a young age just how wonderful and great they are. And it doesn't help, brothers and sisters, that in the schools, we're not taught in many of these schools beyond when we was on the cotton fields. We're not taught beyond the slave experience. We're not taught about us being kings and queens and rulers and the civilizers of the world. We're not taught these things. We're not given that knowledge, that information, and everything that we see and everything that we hear, for the most part, as of greatness is white. This ain't about, this ain't about racism as many would think. This is not about that. But we have lived an experience in this country for 460 years. And the experience has been to decimate the minds and make us hate everything about ourselves. Malcolm said this. He said that when we hate Africa, we hate everything that is us. We hate everything that is us, brothers and sisters. He said, why? You left your very mind in Africa. That's what he said. Malcolm said, you left your very mind in Africa, brothers and sisters. And we've been made to hate the very essence of ourselves. So I remember when I was young, if you were dark, then we made fun of you. If you were light, it was all kind of things that we did. Excuse me. It was all kind of things that we did to fuel self-hatred. It was all kind of things that we did. I can remember this, and this show is about what my young man here got to say, but I just want to say this, and then he's going to take over from here. I can remember when I was a young boy that, I really did live that watermelon man experience, where I hoped and prayed that one day that I would wake up and be white. I used to dream about being like Mr. Rogers. I know many of y'all laugh at that, but I used to wake up and one day think that maybe I could be like Mr. Rogers, and I could have all the things that everybody else have, and I didn't see the value in me, even though I had a beautiful grandmother, a beautiful grandfather, and I had my grandmothers and grandfathers showing love to each other like that, and still, it just wasn't not that they never told me that they loved me. Yeah, they told me that they loved me, but they didn't tell me necessarily about myself. And because I didn't learn about me and the great things that we had contributed to the world, I didn't get into that kind of knowledge until I actually got into high school. I thank Allah for Miss Stewart. And Orr High School in Chicago. Miss Stewart was the one who began to funnel in the information to me that we was much more than being on these cotton fields. She began to funnel into me the greatness of us as a people. She began to funnel that in to us. She began to speak on that to us. And she began to tell us the greatness of self and that we should love ourselves and love our accomplishments. I learned so much from Miss Stewart. But, you know, when I joined the Nation of Islam at 16 years old, I was telling my wife and family just the other day that it was really the first time that I felt like I was worthy. It was the first time that I felt like I was somebody. I had actually put such a burden on myself of lack of confidence, of lack of love for self, that I actually developed a speech impediment when I was a young man. I used to talk very, very slow because I was extremely shy, and I didn't want people to come and say something negative about me. And many of the people in my neighborhood, they would just ride on me like that. And I know that a lot of people say, well, of course, that's a part of growing up and you got to toughen up, this and that. But when you don't receive the reinforcement of the love of you, when you don't receive the reinforcement and the upliftment of who you are, when you don't hear about your greatness, then you most certainly can grow into the hatred of yourself. But again, I just wanted to contribute that because I want you all to hear from a young man, my beloved son, 20 years old. And I want you to hear some of the things that he has experienced, some of the things that he is experiencing right now. This is why we took up this show about the struggle to be yourself. Some of us are struggling with that right now. Well, brothers and sisters, again, I'm going to step off to the side and I'm going to give way to my beloved son, of whom I am so proud and whom I love very, very much. I want him to just talk with us about from the youth perspective. You hear us and you hear him, but we want him to take the lead so that you all can hear from a youth perspective. So here he is, Mr. Jami Khalifa Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. And we're just going to jump right into it. So, what the minister said about that, that a lot of us really seek the acceptance of people to get our self-worth. And personally, and unfortunately, I've been taught all my life about the most Muhammad, and that I have to get closer to Allah. But unfortunately, I was always looking for somebody to be my friend, and I've been getting, not everybody, but I've been getting a lot of the wrong people to be my friends that really don't treat me right and that don't really value me. And I would keep putting myself back in that same situation, and it didn't feel good. But the thing is, you have to change your situation and what's going on around you, even though that's a struggle in itself as well. And another experience that I've had recently about the struggle to be yourself and accepting your own and being yourself, especially as a member of the Nation of Islam, is I've been joining a lot of these black groups, that you would think, oh, that'd be cool with you and all of that. And then before you know it, you find out that, they're not cool with you. They might get jealous of you for whatever reason. They don't tell you why. They might, they don't accept you for who you are. And then when you find it out, you're hurt and you're like, you unfortunately put in your mind, like nobody's going to be my friend and don't like me, but that's not true. What you have to do is find people that actually care about like they like you for you and they care about you. And I know, of course, my parents do. And Allah, of course, cares. And I was reading and I wrote it down that really for success and for the love of yourself and to get stronger as an individual, you have to make sure that your connection with Allah is strong. And the stronger your connection with Him, the higher your success becomes. Because I've been struggling recently with I've been trying to sell drop ship on eBay and Facebook Marketplace, and I actually had a sale. I had a I did the Xbox Series S pre-order, and I actually literally looked at I had two of them, and I had like about was looking at like $600, and I was like, oh man, that's amazing. And then I had to return the money unfortunately because the pre-orders was out. And then I tried to post something, that was a higher value item, like the $400 something, and they made like I was cheating them or something when I was trying to mark it up to make a profit. And I had got discouraged, and I didn't really believe it anymore. And I'm overcoming that and just still continuing to post stuff.
How did that make you feel about yourself?
How did that make me feel about myself? I made me feel about myself. At first I felt confident, and then unfortunately I started to doubt myself once, after that I wasn't able to get a sale right away because
Was it because of the comments though that people were making?
well, yes, I'm actually gonna admit that because unfortunately all my life, what I've been struggling with, and it did hurt me. My sister said this a long time ago, but that I was gullible. But in all honesty and truth, unfortunately, that's a quality that I have had, because I didn't really see the value in myself. Part of it, and really a lot of it, and this is for all the youth in the nation, and it's not me acting like I'm perfect or dissing you or anything. A lot of it is really because we don't study the teachings or study guides enough, and we're not continuously going back to the study guides and the teachings to continue to improve ourselves and to overcome the our self-hatred, self-doubt, and just anything dealing with yourself, and also prayer. Because some of us, one thing happens in our lives and we stop praying. It might be that a friend died, or it might be that you feel like nobody treated you right, and that it's like it's the law's fault that nobody treated you right, and you don't look at all the positives. And even though this is hard for people and anyone to do, like the minister said, you have to also thank Allah for the negative and look at the positive in the negative. When I was younger, I used to get bullied and they used to call me fat and stuff, and I let myself accept that. But when I realized it, I don't have to accept that, and I'm continuing to work on that. But sometimes it can tell you something that you thought about yourself subconsciously, because it might be like our family members, you don't hate them or anything, but your family member might have been very overweight, and you subconsciously was like, you felt like that was gonna be the route you take, or if your family was drug addicts or whatever, you felt like, oh man, this might be the route, and so you started developing that fear in your brain. And some people, like me, like have fear developed in them like from the beginning. My dad had put on the minister and other things, and I was in my mom's womb. However, as I started getting closer to being birthed, they were saying that they were afraid that I was gonna be lost, be miscarried, and my mom was afraid of that, and so she started praying, for Allah not to allow me to, pass away. And by Allah's mercy, I'm here talking to you right now. All praise to Allah. And I did pass away. I had another trial, of course, that made my dad, afraid. But when I had my umbilical cord tied around my neck, and thank Allah, all praise to Allah, they cut it off. But and I was able to persevere. However, like I still have to deal with that fear that my parents had from when I was younger. But I'm not blaming them and being like it's your fault. No, because what the minister said is really you need to get closer with Allah and ask Him to help you to remove it. But part of how you get it removed is you have to stop believing in the mystery God. What it's gonna take is you pray, and then you got to go study. You got to work on saving your people. And you just got to keep doing everything you can do to improve as an individual, and that's really all you can keep doing. Um, and you have to accept yourself where you are. Yes, you might have all these sins, wrongdoings, all of that, blah blah, but you have to accept yourself where you're at the moment, and then you're like, okay, so this is where I'm at right now, and don't beat yourself up. Oh my God, I'm horrible. You have to just accept where you at, and then you have to continue to strive, make little goals. Like, okay, I'm gonna read 5 pages today. I know I ain't read no book. I'm gonna read 5 pages today, and then you just slowly keep doing it. You might be like, oh, I fell off. After 3 days, okay, get back on it. Get back on it. Because, like, for example, I really have to do my 1 meal a day at 4 p.m. And I know my dad, he'd be like, 4:00, my dad.
He is so serious about not 3:59, 4:00.
I am. And my dad, he'd be like, sometimes he'd be eating early. I'm like, Dad, don't do that. Or he'd be eating breakfast. I'm like, Dad, wait. But like, it'll be like 3:50 something. Like, Dad, you had 3 minutes. But I understand he is where he is at. And, you have to just be like, okay, that's where they at. And, as you keep doing, eventually, they'll come along eventually. Because the other thing you have to stop doing, and I realize it, is you have to stop judging people because of how they look or what they're doing or whatever. And you have to be like, okay, let me stop judging them. Look at myself. Look at, what's bad in the other person, what's good in the other person. Like, okay, what can I take from this person? It's like when you watch a movie or whatever or something for entertainment or anything of that nature, or even read a book. You look, okay, what can I get out of this that's good and what's bad and what I want to take? Because one book that I absolutely did not like, but actually you have to really analyze, is Hamlet. He overthought himself to literal death. To finally enact vengeance on his uncle, knowing what he did. It literally took him in poison to finally get his uncle. And I'm like, had he not overthought it, then okay, so you can't overthink stuff either. You can't be like, well, I'm planning to do this and be like, I'm gonna do it one day. I'm gonna do it. And then 5 years later, you're like, what happened? I thought I was gonna do it. Because my parents were telling me for like since I was 8, they was like, you're gonna be becoming a man, right? You got responsibilities. I'm like, okay, mom, dad, you're right. Yeah, you're right. And I'm saying you're right, and I'm hearing them, but I'm not listening. And I'm continuing. I'm a gamer. I like comic book stuff, so I get this Black Panther shirt on. And rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. But I let myself get involved in that world because again, that was also me trying to get approval. Because when I got a microphone and I was talking to people, people's like, "Oh, your character is cool. Oh, you're cool. I really like hanging out with you." I took that and I made it essentially like a God beside Allah. Like, I need them to approve me. You don't need people to approve you. Yes, like it's something you still deal with, like when people don't approve you, but you have to approve yourself. That's really what you have to do. You have to prove yourself and kind of have a book you attitude. You have to be mean or anything, but you have to be like that because the people that's something like they have that same attitude, or they actually messed up in their own mind and they taking it out on you a lot of times. They be sending all the bad comments and being bad and bullying you and all that. They messed up here, and they probably as soon as they get done, they're like, I don't even know why I did that. Like, but anyway,
Let me say something.
I'm gonna let you say something.
Assalamu alaikum, friends and family. Welcome. Thank you all again for coming in and listening to Mr. Jami Khalifa Muhammad on the struggle to be yourself. And as I was thinking about that subject and thinking about what the minister said, as a community and a family, we still have a responsibility to help our youth become themselves and to be comfortable with themselves. As individuals, we all struggle, for that balance.
No, I'm sorry. I don't want to.
Okay. We do all struggle to be ourselves. And I think as you get older, it becomes easier because you end up really not caring much about what other people think about you. But as a young person, the parents and the community fighting and going through all that in school is not a rite of passage. That's the lifestyle we've had to adopt since we've been here in North America. But you have schools that have environments that's created to learn, to love, to nurture, right? And those Black men and women that come out of those schools are better human beings, not in they're better than anybody else, but they're able to build character while they're young. They're able to learn to support one another when they're young because of the environment that they grew up in. And so when we create an environment for our children and for the youth and the young people in the community, at least the environment around you, of where they can accept themselves and be okay with who they are, be able to express who they are in a manner that is, of course, in alignment with God, right? Not teaching them bad habits and telling them to be yourself, you a thug. That's not who you are.
Right.
Who you are is a God that's within you, that dwells within you, which is Black excellence, which is, Hispanic excellence. Whatever nationality you are, you bring the best out of yourself and your culture. And so when we create those environments for our children, you know, and allowing them to experiment, I think is important too. I think we could have did more with allowing Johnny to experience um, more creative things as he was growing up. I mean, we did bring in our big brother, Carter J of Pencil Academy, to teach them, art, right? And then, so there was some things, but, just allowing them to explore who they are. And as parents, if we can kind of get in their heads, and I'm saying this to the younger parents, right now, even grandparents, that are taking care of your grandbabies, because a lot of grandparents they're taking care of their grandchildren, creating that environment. So, okay, so today we're going to build something. Go to the research, buy a little $10 desk, bring it in and let them strip it down, let them paint it, let them put some stickers on it, let them create that little desk or that little chair just for them. My brother does that. He actually makes chairs for his grandchildren. It's a tradition now. Every grandchild has to have one with their name, face on it, and that's their chair.
Right.
So that's like bringing that creative, their own individual selves. This is all about you, and so we can do those kind of things to help our children in their process of growing so that they get it way before we do. At 20, I didn't have it. I was just coming into, actually, I think 21, coming into the knowledge of myself as a Black woman in the universe, right? So I'm not going to hold the show. I'm just, giving my little thoughts and opinions because, Jami, this is really his show to help other young people and the elders to understand where our youth is or where our youth are, where they, what we can do to help them along with their becoming the great men and women that God created them to be.
I just want to share a couple things just really quickly, and then whatever else Jami has to say, more than welcome. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, in his book message to the black man in America, and if you don't have it, you should definitely get it. You know, and it's not just a religious text. It is many, many principles in it that everybody can take them from if you would just read, study what he's saying. In the chapter called First Love Yourself, hold on, he says the gravest handicaps among the so-called Negro is that there is no love for self nor love for his or her own kind. This not having love for self is the root cause of hate, dislike, disunity, disagreement, quarreling, betraying, stool pigeons, and fighting and killing one another. How can you be loved if you have not love for self and your own nation and dislike being a member of your own? Then what nation will trust your love and membership? You say of yourself, I love everybody. This cannot be true. Love for self comes first. One more thing. We were in our class on mindset in the ABS tribe, and they were playing a video. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but what he said was the major key to your better success is you. He said that value makes the difference in results. In other words, like what we're saying, if you don't have value, if you don't have love for self, if you don't know who you are as a people, and you have not studied the wonderful accomplishments that you all and we have contributed to the world, then you don't have a roadmap. That's what history is really all about. Yes, it gives us the springs, the motives, and everything of why people did what they did, and it tells us the truth about what they did. But more so than anything, it is a roadmap. It gives you the permission and the ability to know that you have the capacity to do something great like that. So when you look at the pyramids and you know that your fathers and mothers did that, when you look at the hanging gardens of Babylon, when you look at the Sankore University, Timbuktu, and all these great civilizations, when you look at the plantation houses throughout the South, which we built all of those, when you look at that, when you look at the White House and the Congress building, we built that. That is part of your legacy. Now, you may say, well, we built that because we were doing forced slave labor. No, fools can't build a building. I'm going to say that again. Fools can't build a building. The book of Daniel said that they took the builders and the thinkers from among the people and enslaved them. So that was what happened. They brought the builders and the thinkers here. You not gonna bring no jungle savage to build a country for you. That don't even make sense. But that's what we've been told. And that lie has stuck in our minds and made us think that we deserve what happened to us. And further with it, that we were cursed to be like that. And a lot of us still believe that.
Well, a lot of people try to reiterate that to us as well.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
I was listening to a gentleman this morning, you know, about the educational system and how it's constantly being portrayed to us that we didn't really contribute a lot. We did a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But when you do some real research, family, for your children and your grandchildren, you know, we will see all of the contributions. This country is built because of us.
That's right.
You know, first and foremost, not just the foundation, okay, and the riches of this country was built on us, but those little things like the air conditioning, those little things like the filament that goes inside of a light, you know, these kind of things, the broom, the stoplight, the ironing board, the hair curlers, all of these things that when you internet, you know, we wouldn't have internet if it wasn't for a black man. All of these gaming systems and voice over internet, black woman, laser surgery for your eyes, black woman doctor.
Come on now.
You know, we can go down the line. So we have to instill that self-worth.
That's right.
You know, because everything that our children are learning in school is telling them that they're not worthy. When we went to the Capitol in Atlanta and it got 10 feet tall, 20 feet tall pictures of their heroes, which are our enslavers.
That's right.
You know, when we look up at those pictures, we see enslavers. There weren't superheroes to us, you know, but the superheroes to them. And so we're constantly telling our children, you're not worthy. And we don't even realize that we're perpetrating the same mindset into our children. So we have to become more educated and more in love with ourselves so that we can share that information, you know, with our family. I know we're about out of time, Jamie, but I wanted to, you know, ask you a question. You know, when it comes to understanding who you are and how you were raised and how we would, you know, go through your lessons and then bring out the black history in it. You know, how does that make you feel as a young person? You know, growing up and becoming a young man. How did that make you feel and how does that protrude you into the future?
Well, it definitely helped to inspire me and help me to see that I can do whatever I set my mind to, and help me to love myself more too. And we used to write papers on each one that we read too. Um, like I think I know one of those. Um, yes, however, they can't hear.
Can't hear?
Yeah, that's what.
Not that good.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear us now?
Can you hear me now? Make sure this is
Okay.
okay. Can you all hear us better now?
Give us a thumbs up.
Give us a thumbs up.
Give us a thumbs up
like,
if you can hear us better now. Or somebody just comment in the chat.
All
okay.
right.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, but when my parents just teach Black history and Islamic studies, but both of those things help to encourage me and inspire me to be a better person. And they've helped me throughout my life to counteract, you know, the negative things that I've thought about myself. And it's one that I think I was really inspired by. One black man, the first black man traveled to Antarctica. I don't even remember his name, but I know I do want to go to Antarctica. I want to go before it melts. But that's been a dream that I've had for a while. And of course,
this is true.
Continue traveling the world, of course. So far in world travel terms, we have been to Belize together. I went to Jamaica twice. Then I went on a cruise to Cozumel, Mexico, the Bahamas before they got messed up.
Right. So, I mean, I just want to end on this point. So, Well, no, you can hold it. I just wanted to end on the point that the importance of teaching our children who they really are and allowing them to explore that with our explore, parts of themselves, helping them to cultivate the God within them, helping them to cultivate. So, as you become a father, you know, how important is it for you to teach your children those things?
Now,
Sorry,
go
you were
ahead.
asking me a question.
I was asking.
I'm sorry, you was asking me a question. I'm sorry.
Right, I ain't know either.
I didn't know your love.
Y'all see
Sorry.
how they do me.
We thought you was making a mistake.
They just let me talk, right? But no, I was saying how important and how will you, as you get older and decide to have children, you know, what is the importance of teaching your children and allowing them to explore, who they are to really develop a strong um, sense of security within themselves so they don't grow up with insecurities.
Um, well, you definitely have to teach them that the Black history, and of course, for me, I'd be teaching them Islam, of course, so that they can continue to be inspired and continue on and realize their greatness, and to continue to improve on the future for each generation, because that's what we need to do as a people. We need to unite, make our own, and continue to improve with each generation. Because at this current moment, I'm sorry if you love politics, but voting is not the answer, and they literally about to come out with a movie about voting, and that voting is power. No,
Well, what is the answer?
the answer is really us uniting, coming together, and getting this land of our own. If we really want to make a difference in the political realm, from what I've learned in the American government, an American government book, and a law and society book, we have to have a committee of at least 50 to 70% of Black people that agree that we need to separate and be in a land of our own, and we have to make sure it's all united statement that we all believe in. And they said they usually listen to that, but that's the only time they're gonna listen as we continue, as we unite with each other. We can't be talking about, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, I'm a Christian, but there's some of that. We all one people, and we can't let any divide us. As we continue to work together, what's gonna happen? You're gonna start to see the lightning strand. That's why you see in all these movies that they have, like with superheroes or whatever, or religious movies, they always end up coming together. Not always, but they end up coming together, most of them, because they actually find what they have in common and not so much what they have as differences.
Okay.
And yes, like, embrace your difference. My dad said that in a TikTok video recently. Embrace your difference and be different, but also make sure that you connect the similarities and connect on the same basis.
Right.
And then that'll help you to be united and not get separated.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, brothers and sisters, we want to play an inspirational song from some young sisters that we know that they are much older now, but we want to end it with trying to inspire our children to study, and why it's important that we study. And we want you to hear what they say that they study. We thank Allah for these babies. Well, they're not babies anymore. This was years ago. So they in their 20s too, I think, at least 18 or so. So we're going to play this song, and we don't own the rights to the music, okay? But we want to let you hear this. And we're going to close out. If you know others that need to be inspired to love themselves, definitely share, because we know we all need some help with self-love. All right, so I'm going to let you all hear this. We pray you enjoy it. It is from Watoto from the Nile, and it is a song called Study Day.
LGE movement. So far, records. This joint right here. It's called Study Day. And I always learn something wrong. We've been putting up with your stuff for way too long. You attempt to hide what might help us the most. And so I think it's time to let my people know. Let's tell the truth to the East Coast. Let's tell the truth to the West Coast. Let's tell the truth to the whole world. And everybody else that I know. Let's tell the truth to my soul. Let's tell the truth to the people. Listen, I got it. I gotta send my people emails. I can't believe that we have made it this. You be about to see your mail. You know our African invented it. Not adventure around the world. Tell my people never get fast. That's why I stand on my history. At least you know that's what I'm good at. And I always learn something wrong. We've been putting out with your stuff for way too long. You attempt to hide what might help us the most. And so I think it's time to let my people know. Let's tell the truth to the East Coast. Let's tell the truth to the West Coast. Let's tell the truth to the whole world. And everybody else that I know. Let's tell the truth to my soul. Let's tell the truth to the people. Listen, I gotta play for the you can. You know it's babies. Study day, gotta go teach the babies. Study day, ain't no time to be lazy. It's a study day, cause I gotta play. Study as much as you can. Ain't no ifs, baby. Study day, gotta go teach the babies. Study day, ain't no time to be lazy. Study day, cause I gotta study as much as you can. For my people to get all the time. Three is on my mind. I really stop the name before I write the rhyme. You can mention all of the time. Christopher Columbus, man, that was really lost. When he came up on the he hit the niggas off. Now I have to celebrate his equal. I love but he was the hands of people and he chopped them up. This is the movie history is relevant. The declaration of features so evident. And I'm supposed to that look what my people gave. Cause I remember wrote the document and that's his slave. The president's supposed to be a founding father. The only Washington I celebrate is Dr. Carver. A true scientist because he never gave up. He wasn't genius to the world, he was the peanut. And we look around the planet. Then I compare it to my history. There was a lot of misunderstanding. Never mind when let my people read. I just needed an advantage. So you must know everything. But now I'm taking other classes. Oh yeah, my people. Now when you look on the planet, then I compare it to my history. There was a lot of damage. Never mind when let my people read. I guess we needed an advantage. So you could blame us for everything. And now I'm taking other classes. Oh yeah, my people study history. Always learn something. We've been putting up with your stuff for way too long. You sense to hide and might help us the most. So I think it's time to let our people know. Let's tell the truth to the cold. Let's tell the truth to the world. Let's tell the truth to the whole world. And
Yeah, well,
All right, fam. All right, fam. That was Watoto from Now. If you're not familiar with them, that's positive hip hop that you can let your babies listen to. That particular song was called Study Day, and they were talking about the benefit of learning the knowledge of themselves and how it was growing them to fall deeper in love with themselves. So we wanted to just bring that song to your attention. If you may not have heard of them, they got a lot of jewels. So look for them. Watoto from the Now. Now they are older now. They are much older. I believe they're in their 20s or something, 18 at least. Except probably the youngest one. We actually did an interview with them several years ago. Unfortunately, we lost that interview. But anyway, I digress. I digress, family. Please join us on our next show. Our next show will be Love My Kidneys, God willing, at 10:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So it is now 9:42 here. So we definitely want you all to join us over on Love My Kidneys. At 10:30, we're going to be talking about how to cook to live. That's right. How to cook to live. We're going to show you how to do the supreme bean soup from beginning to end. I'm going to say it. You ready? In 30 minutes. You didn't hear what I said. That's right. We got a special thing to show you. So come on over, family, because we don't only want to talk about thinking to live and changing the reality of our life. We know that we're number one in almost every health ailment on the planet. And one of the things that we have to do is learn how to eat to live. If you don't have that book, Volume 1 and 2, get it. Store.finalcall.com. Message the Black Band, get it. Store.finalcall.com. Please pick those books up. Look at them, read them, have your children study those. It can prolong their life in every way, mentally, spiritually, and physically. Well, family, we thank you all so much. I know we had a few technical difficulties, but if you missed some of it, go back and listen. I don't know if we were able to hear for the first 10 minutes or something, but if not, just fast forward a little bit. We actually did replay the lecture from the minister, part of it called The Theology of Self. If you don't have that lecture, again, store.finalcall.com. Let them know you want that. The Theology of Self.
Jamie wanted to close us out.
All right. So we're going to let our son close us out. And then we're going to sign off for now. Meet us again at 10:30 on an hour from now on Love My Kids.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. And if you didn't get anything else from this, the main thing is that it is a struggle to be yourself, but it's definitely worth it to go through the struggle, and that you have to accept yourself for who you are. And you have to continue to improve on yourself by making you some little goals, fulfilling those goals, and of course, make some big ones, your little ones, midterm, and long ones. And then also remember that Allah loves you, and that He just wants you to continue to improve yourself. And He didn't put difficulty in your life to be a burden on you. He put it so you could grow, because well, we have to realize that God actually had to create Himself out of triple darkness from absolutely nothing.
Come on.
And the same thoughts we think it, He thought it. He was like, "This is taking like a long time. Like,
with no blueprint.
Can I want to quit." But He's like, "No, I can't. I want to be real." So He was like, "I gotta keep going." And He actually had to literally become all the attributes that He is. That's the thing that you're gonna realize. Like, He is Allah, but He actually had to become Allah over time. So you have to become a little version of Allah over time yourself.
Right.
And thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks,
And if you
Sam.
want to know more about that subject, that's Savior's Day 1997. Savior's Day 1997, a Savior's Day gift by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He gets into that God evolving into the perfection of himself. All right, family, as always, we love you. God loves you most. We love you too, and there's nothing you can do about it,
That's
as
right.
our brother Dick say. And don't forget to continue to let the spark in your mind create a new reality. Thank you. Share. We love you.
Love you
See
guys.
you on How to Cook to Live at
Love my
10:30
kidneys.
on How to Cook to Live. Love My Kidneys. Name of the show is How to Cook to Live. Love My Kidneys is the place right here live on Facebook.
Yes, sir.
All right. Love you, family. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. Hope. Shalom.
Peace.